The U.S. has expelled more than 6,000 Haitian migrants in the last 12 days, preventing them from having the chance to seek asylum. The mass deportation efforts come after about 30,000 people were camped under a bridge near Del Rio, Texas. A significant portion of them originally came from Haiti. The makeshift camp they made has been evacuated. The Biden administration is expelling them using a Trump-era pandemic policy known as Title 42. It allows them to send people back to their home countries before they can ask for asylum in the U.S. Many of these migrants made their way hundreds of miles to the U.S. by crossing through a treacherous stretch of land known as the Darien Gap. The Darien Gap spans from southern Panama into northern Colombia. The area consists of thick forests, jungles, and rugged mountain terrain. There are no drivable roads in the region connecting Central and South America. This forces migrants to brave the gap as they travel north with the hope of reaching the U.S. and forging a new future. Joining us now for more on this is CBSN correspondent and executive producer of our Originals documentaries, Adam Yamaguchi. Adam, welcome. Great to see you. We are seeing a growing number of migrants risking their lives crossing the Darien Gap to get to the United States. So for people who aren't familiar with it, explain what the Darien Gap is exactly and why this stretch of land is so treacherous.
Sure. As you mentioned, it is a treacherous and sort of untamed area that sits between Panama and Colombia. That has become really the only route for people who are trying to get to the U.S. via South America. And, it's a 60-mile stretch of thick, untamed jungle that has, it basically is the only break in the Pan American Highway, a 19,000-mile highway that connects Prudhoe Bay in Alaska and the southern tip of South America. So this nearly 70-mile stretch of thick forest really sort of is a stopper. It's sort of a natural wall, if you will, that keeps people from getting from one place, from one continent over to the north, and has become, as you said, a place where, in the absence of any real enforcement, or large cities, that people are able to make that crossing without coming across any, let's say, border enforcement. And ultimately, they turn up in Panama, where they will eventually find, political borders and whatnot that they have to sort of navigate their way through. But again, this jungle is a place where, people are, traversing for anywhere from, let's say, 5 days. It took us about 9 days or so. It could take people weeks and weeks and weeks, going up and down, summiting up and down these very treacherous cliffs, navigating your way in and out of rivers, and also trying to dodge, venomous snakes along the way and preventing injury and whatnot.
So as you pointed out, the Pan American Highway stretches across North America, through Central America, and into South America. So why are there no roads running through the Darien Gap? Is that by design, or are there plans to finally connect Central and South America via roadways?
Sure. There have been efforts in the past to build, whether it's tunnels or a road network, and essentially breaking that missing link between the two continents. But for a number of reasons, efforts have really never made its way past just conversations. There were efforts in the 70s that the U.S. actually played a role in helping to finance and really explore whether a road network could make sense. And that was stopped because there was an outbreak of foot and mouth disease. And so the stopper essentially has allowed or has prevented disease from sort of migrating from one continent to the other. So, there, like I said, so there have been a number of efforts in the past. The other thing is cost. Because this is such a forbidding swath of land, there are enormous financial costs and there are enormous environmental costs. And the environmental costs are really right now what seem to be impeding any desire to pave or to mow down this area. It is one of the most pristine ecological systems left in the world for all those reasons.
All right. Well, Adam Yamaguchi, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about the Darien Gap and about your efforts to bring this reporting to all of us. So be sure you watch Adam Yamaguchi as he treks through the Darien Gap himself in the CBSN Originals documentary by the same name. You can stream that now on cbsnews.com/Darien.